Legal immigration in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis signed off on legislation that will drastically change how illegal immigrants are dealt with. Some of the things included in the new legislation would make it a state-level crime to knowingly enter Florida illegally, deny bail and raise penalties for undocumented immigrants who commit a crime, appropriate approximately $250 million for local law enforcement to enforce federal immigration law. It would also slash in-state tuition for undocumented immigrants that could end as soon as this summer. Local law enforcement will be trained to deal with apprehending illegal immigrants and working with ICE.
But unless you're trained to exercise those authorities, you cannot, as the Highway Patrol, transport them to an ICE facility. That will change, obviously, as our troopers are trained in this.
Democrats have argued that Republicans want to spend too much money on fighting illegal immigration instead of focusing on things like the housing crisis and education.
Put the taxpayer money into the state of Florida for things that really matter.
We're going to take much needed funding from our state to do the federal government's job. We're going to subsidize the federal government.
Laverne McGee, Getting Results, News 6.
Research shows Florida ranks high for the number of undocumented immigrants living in the state. And with these new laws, many may fear deportation and could stop showing up for work. During the special session, Democrats warned that Florida's economy will suffer if undocumented immigrants don't show up. Pew Research shows Florida has 1.2 million unauthorized immigrants, making up 8% of the workforce. Hope Community Center's executive director says immigrants are vital to the workforce and call for a humane immigration system that could help both people looking to live the American dream and the economy.
About 50% of farm workers are undocumented here, and countless in the construction and hospitality industry are undocumented or maybe in some sort of a quasi status, like temporary protective status, that will be taken away literally in a couple of months. Without them, I'm not sure how we're going to continue to function.
Many Republicans argue that 8% is taking up jobs that could go to American citizens.
All right, turning now to our forecast. When I got into the parking lot a little later than usual today, it was around 4:20. That's when the sky opened up.
Oh, good timing. Perfect timing. Perfect timing, I'm sure, for all the necessary things, especially what's happening. The duels and things, speed boots. Jonathan Kegas, take it away. Is Daytona Beach still getting wet right now?
They are not. We're at least drying out at this point. The trucks are out there. I saw that in Ryan's live shot when he was out at the Speedway. There's the nasty stuff that came through. It's way out into the Atlantic right now. We'll take you closer into Daytona Beach. We also have some stuff moving through Titusville. Look at all the lightning that exploded over the last 15 minutes or so, right into Mims. We had nothing, and then bam, it found the environment that it liked, and it went to explode there. Nothing severe, but a whole lot of lightning, and that rain is coming down very, very heavy through Titusville into Mims right now. Oak Hill, we have a couple of downpours just north of town. New Smyrna Beach, we're now drying out with those showers. We'll take it back closer into the Speedway now. And again, we are nice and dry. We should be on the drier side for the next couple of hours for the duel. So whenever they get the track dried up, we're good to go. There's the Speedway there. That was that kind of the last gas there. The shower will back things back up again. The only thing we have to worry about, it's this weak cold front, the showers associated with it. Most of that, I think, going to fizzle out before it would even get to Volusia County and Daytona Beach. Watching it closely. But I think the rest of the night in Daytona is looking good. We'll talk about the weekend. Mayor heard big race coming our way. We're going to break that down in about 15 minutes.
All right, Jonathan, thank you. We have learned a student at Lake Nona High School has died after a fiery car crash. We reported this is breaking news just yesterday. 2 cars crashed into trees on Narcoossee Road near Orlando International Airport. Orlando police tell us one of the drivers died. 2 other students, also from Lake Nona, were hurt. Police believe both cars were speeding before that crash. They were asking witnesses to come forward with any information they might have. Now, this afternoon, a memorial has been set up at the site of that crash. People are taking a minute, leaving flowers and other mementos, and paying their respects to honor the victims.
Today in Washington, federal lawmakers are making moves to tackle gun violence head-on. Congressman Maxwell Frost held a press conference to introduce the Office of Gun Violence Prevention Act. So the bill would establish a permanent office at the Department of Justice focusing on gun violence prevention. The Biden administration created the office, which had bipartisan support, but it was shut down by President Trump through executive order. The office helped put in regulations on ghost guns. It expanded background checks. It had funding for community violence intervention programs and a lot more.
Well, the happiest place on earth is being sued over its disability access policies. To get you up to speed on this, Disney changed its policy last May to only include guests who cannot wait in line for an extended period of time due to a developmental disability or similar disorder. It also does not provide immediate access to experiences, but allows guests to request a return time in line with the current standby wait. Anyone who is requesting a pass has to register via live video chat with a Disney representative to determine eligibility prior to their visit. A class action lawsuit filed against Disney Parks and Resorts says the company's policies violates the American with Disabilities Act by imposing discriminatory eligibility criteria and requiring unnecessary public disclosure of sensitive medical information. The plaintiff claims she applied for the pass based on her physical disability but was rejected. The complaint also alleges screenings took place in public, violating privacy laws. Now, Disney officials just got a statement to us saying, in part, quote, Disney offers a broad range of effective disability accommodations and has worked extensively with experts to ensure that our guests' individual needs are properly matched with the accommodation they require. And we believe the claims in this complaint are without merit. For the 10th year in a row, the Daytona 500 is sold out, and now we are just days away from the race that brings hundreds of thousands to our coast.
Yeah, it's so important. The 67th running of the 500 on Sunday. Fans, though, already pouring in for all the festivities, and that means local businesses seeing dollar signs even earlier. News 6's Molly Reed is at the Speedway with a look ahead at the race's impact.
The engines are starting to rev, the infields are packed in, and the hotels across Daytona Beach are sold out. Some race fans tell us they got here a week ago.
Get with your friends, get to the track, get to the beach.
I got a couple of nice restaurants in the area we like to visit.
A vacation to Florida all centered around the Great American Race. Camping in the infield comes with traditions for many. What are you looking forward to the most this year?
Eating.
The food more so than the race?
Absolutely, yes. Got her a few hours, fired it up. We're having brats, burgers today. We're gonna do a fish fry later, and then we're pulling out the brisket and the pulled pork tomorrow.
Over 100,000 fans will pour into the Speedway, with more scattered around Daytona Beach. It'll be the richest purse payout in motorsports history, with drivers competing for $30 million. After last year's 500 rained out, Speedway President Frank Kelleher hopes this year they get lucky.
So fingers crossed that the weather gods are on our side, and we have great weather for all of our fans that have traveled from all 50 states and 40 plus countries.
The Daytona Beach Area Visitors Bureau calls the 500 the Super Bowl level economic impact for the area. Hotels sold out, restaurants packed in. The Speedway generates about $800 million for the area annually, and the 500 is a big part of that.
That is a number that we're very proud of, as that touches almost every business in the area, and it's something that we want to challenge ourselves to grow year over year.
In Daytona Beach, Volusia County, and Molly Reed getting results, News 6.
It's such a blast out there.
Oh
The
my
infield,
gosh.
I'm so glad she spent some time in the infield. And I know that some of the stuff that she probably shot,
You can't use
it. I did see a little bit of something getting blurred on there. Probably for the best, but
It's going to be a big blur by Sunday.
and now that it rained at the Speedway, I mean, all I can think about is like mud wrestling or something along those lines. Don't rule it out.
Wow,
Just
it
don't
sounds like you have plans for Sunday, Justin.
Perhaps. I think just if you haven't been to the 500, doesn't matter if you're a race fan. If you have an opportunity to go,
Just do it once. That's all you need.
all you needed, yes, and it's an experience that you cannot emulate and you can't recreate with anything else. It's a great time.
And you got to see it to believe it.
You do.
That's
You
for
do.
sure. All right, let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. Living in Orlando, it can be overwhelming to pick one activity for date night. With Valentine's Day tomorrow, News 6 has created a guide on 5 unique date spots in the city, beautiful. So here's one idea to get you started. You can dine with sharks at SeaWorld. Sounds crazy, right? So the good news is you don't need a park ticket, but it's still going to cost you $220 per couple.
Oh.
That will include parking, a 3-course meal, live music, and so much more. Find the rest of the list at Click Orlando.
It's probably booked up. Again, we're giving these tips out. I love the tips, and you don't have to necessarily do it tomorrow, but everyone needs date spot ideas, right?
Yeah.
To
and
mix things up.
And you're right. If you don't do it for Valentine's Day, do it in an off time, because everyone's looking for something to do on Friday, especially last minute.
Oof, yeah. It's slim pickings. I almost had to go to Chili's, although I would have preferred it. I would have preferred Chili's.
Wow, you are really saying a lot right now.
I love Chili's. I love me some Chili's. Anyway, let's move on. I'm starving. Here are some other stories trending on clickorlando.com. All I can think about is just doing the mozzarella with cheese pool right now. Sounds fantastic. Well, Yelp released, speaking of places, top 100 places to eat in the U.S. For those in the Sunshine State, one in Orlando made the cut.
Okay.
We have so many places to choose from, it's probably hard to figure out which one, but we're going to tell you. The spot was Kaya. It's a casual fine dining restaurant blowing up in popularity. It's in the Mills 50 district serving Filipino food. And if it lands on this list, you know you don't have to hear from me that it's got great reviews. But you can find out the other 3 restaurants in the state by reading the story on our website. Lastly, Lou Gardens has a new outdoor theme being offered. This one's called Origami in the Garden, transforming timeless art of paper folding into more than 20 metal pieces. We have all that event information for you at clickorlando.com.
Always something going on. If you're bored, then you're not trying.
That's a great point.
Trying.
And if you're not trying to break the bank, I mean, Lou Gardens, you can spend a whole afternoon there. It's a great place.
And it's beautiful, yeah. Here at News 6, part of our mission, every time we hit the road is to uncover the hidden gems that make communities so special.
So after the break, how these sculptures are captivating visitors and becoming really the talk of the town. You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Kissimmee, Claremont, and all of Central Florida, and we'll be right back.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, we are less than a week out now from bringing you the news live from the coast. We'll be at Grind Gastropub and Konatiki Bar from 4 to 7 p.m. in Ormond Beach. We'll be telling the stories you've sent us, and we would love for you to come out and say hello and share some more stories and maybe even your concerns. So we hope to see you soon.
And hitting the road is just always a blast. We've been doing it for the last year or so. And of course, the entire day would not happen without viewers. Not only because you show up and we get to meet you, but you also tell us what you want us to cover. And Ginger, one viewer told us something pretty interesting, told you something pretty interesting.
It was really cool. So we got an email from a viewer saying to do a story on about a dozen temporary statues near the beach. And it is really turning heads in that community. Well, it got our attention too, so I hit the road to check it out. We're here in beautiful Ormond Beach, where obviously the beaches are gorgeous. The food is great. This is the birthplace of speed, and one of the richest men in the world, John D. Rockefeller, once called this place home. But there are some temporary residents here who don't say a whole lot, but they get a bunch of attention. Meet Monet. He's part of an art installation of sculptures that has infused new life into downtown Ormond Beach as part of their Main Street program. The Ormond Beach Arts District worked for about a year to raise money and get the collection here. And so far,
people seem to love them very much, and children particularly love them. But everybody, I think people are attracted to the fact that they are life-size, that they look, as you walk by them, if you're not paying attention, you might think they're real people.
Julia Trujillo is president of the Ormond Beach Arts District.
You know, it's the question of looking familiar, of looking like something that they can approach.
These lifelike creations arrived last November and have been captivating visitors from day one.
I have seen several people having conversations with them, even though they are not getting much in the way of answers.
Created by Seward Johnson, a grandson in the well-known Johnson & Johnson family, they are done in a style known as hyper-realism.
He's detail-oriented. Everything about these figures is extremely lifelike.
And they blend right in with everyone else. In fact, it took me a minute to notice the woman sitting on the bench.
You can see her sitting right there. You see her?
I don't, but...
There she, the yellow dress, see her?
So that's a sculpture.
That's a sculpture.
Do people realize that?
No, from this distance, I don't think people realize that.
Because she just looks like a woman just sitting there, minding her business. Even the items in her purse look real. Lipstick, a wallet, a pen. Each sculpture has a special lifelike quality. The life-size figures each weigh about 600 pounds, and they are pretty hard to miss. How many have you seen so far? We found people just exploring and admiring them.
We're just amazed at the detail.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the clothes these statues are wearing. I mean, it's amazing. Seams.
And the texture on the jeans and all that.
Beverly Fox is visiting from Palm Coast and has seen Johnson's work in other places. She's glad they're in Ormond Beach now so she can show them off to her friends. Are you going to do the whole tour?
Oh, definitely. I'm going to drag them around.
People come from all over to see these statues. Not only to see them, but to be seen with them. They're a very popular spot to take selfies. Trujillo says their social media pages are filled with people who love posing with the sculptures.
Every time I see one of them, there's people around it.
Judy Stein is a big part of why these sculptures are here. She saw them somewhere else and took a chance when she lobbied to bring them to Ormond Beach.
Yeah, well, sure, it could have gone anyway, and it was a big deal, you know, for us to do this. So the fact that it's been so successful, I have to say, it's really gratifying. It's really gratifying for me.
Yeah, you never know how it's going to turn out.
No, it's been a labor of love.
There are 13 of these statues spread out around Ormond Beach, but don't worry, they've made them easy for you to find. You can complete the 1-mile loop of artwork in about 1 hour, longer if you linger.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
People do tend to linger, and people... because they're so fascinating, and they're not fragile, so they want you to interact with them, and she said people talk to them. They're so popular that these ones will leave in the end of April. Some more are coming. They've already started the process of getting another batch coming starting in January. So if you missed this one, this
Do we
time
know
around,
who?
we don't know yet.
Okay, that's the teaser.
Yeah. I just think about if I was going to Ormond Beach, right, and I'm walking down that nice little causeway, and the double takes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I do it at Madame Tussauds, and I know what I'm getting into, right? It's like,
well, those are super realistic, right?
Yeah.
But it's
That's
kind of
really
the way
interesting.
they dress will give it away in Florida. Wearing a sweater, sitting on a bench,
Sure.
is probably not the best course of action.
Don't think so.
Yeah.
It's cool though. It's really, that was a neat story. Great job.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed
was
going
cool.
out and meeting all those statues too. Yeah, too bad one of them didn't have an umbrella because they're getting rained on today.
Yes,
mostly.
they did get some rain up that way. We are seeing more showers and thunderstorms, a lot of lightning around Mims and Titusville right now. So this is kind of the first really big thunderstorm of the year here in Central Florida. You guys got it in Mims and Titusville. We heard some thunder around the Speedway earlier this afternoon, but very highly literally electrified. Look at the lightning tracker there, about 80 strikes now in the last 15 minutes or so, pushing back out to Merritt Island, closer to Playa Linda Beach right now. Mims just getting walked on right now by that scattered thunderstorm. There's 7, 8 o'clock tonight. All of that continues to push off the coast. Future Radar doing a very nice job. Give another hour, and I think most, if not everybody, is dry. We're also watching a weak cold front coming in from the north. That'll keep a few stray showers around. If you're heading to the duels tonight, either drying the track, we are going to be just pinpointing a stray shower. I think more often than not, though, the speedway is going to remain dry for the rest of the night. There's 6, 7 o'clock on your Friday. Watch what happens. Notice everything changes. The breeze comes in off of the Atlantic tomorrow. That's going to help to generate a few stray showers. That's 5, 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Again, watching the speedway, there's going to be the chance for a few passing downpours in the mix. There's 7 to 8 o'clock. A few more trying to sneak in. That will keep that trend rolling with that breeze out of the east again through the rest of Friday night. Really the same deal getting into Saturday. 79 in Mount Dora right now. We're at 81 at Claremont, 81 degrees in Leesburg right now. Now here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Temperatures overnight back to the low to mid 60s, and that's with a cold front coming through. 30% shot for rain to continue, and again, that's mainly right along the coast again. 10% chance for showers tomorrow. We're back to the mid 70s in Groveland, 78 in Orlando. Again, that is about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than where we were today. That's still above where we should be for this time of the year. So certainly some relatively speaking cooler air coming in, but it's not going to be frigid by any means. Much colder air, though, comes with cold front number 2, and that's what we are pinpointing for the Daytona 500. So there we go. You see the bark worsen its bite here, at least the heaviest stuff going to stay outside of Florida at this point. There's 8 o'clock on Sunday, and I think the second half of the race is where we're going to be watching for the opportunity for some delays, maybe. I'm starting to get cautiously optimistic, though, that we keep things dry for the bulk of the race. We're watching that timing of the front very, very closely. 83 over the weekend will warm back up behind the front. 40% shot for storms again for the race on Sunday. 2:30 again the start time. Much, much colder though behind that one, guys. President's Day only upper 60s. Some of us starting off in the 40s both Monday morning and Tuesday morning.
Woof. Well, the jackets didn't even have a chance to catch dust, Jonathan. Thank you so much. Well, in a month marked by celebrations of love, children who are facing critical heart conditions are finding strength through the most difficult of circumstances.
The student journalist Jana Manahalal visited Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital to see how they celebrate victories, great and small.
Okay. What do you want to do?
Just be myself.
Just be you?
Lily and her 6-year-old son Nathan have been facing heart issues since before Nathan was born. However, they continue to feel strength every day. Today, celebrating Valentine's Day during February's Heart Health Awareness Month.
Okay, when the doctor comes to me and said, Lily, he has hypoplastic left heart syndrome, I'm like, I have what? And then he explained to me he have half heart, he doesn't, he gonna have surgeries. It was hard. I was crying for the entire pregnant because we didn't know if he gonna
You don't know.
be with us for how long.
Why do you feel that Nathan is so strong? Do you think
I don't know.
You don't know?
He's fighting like a lot for his life. And the life for him is amazing. He's everything. So strong, like a superhero.
And it's really challenging to think about why this patient with this condition is having this problem.
Dr. David Nikinen is the director of the Heart Center at Arnold Palmer. For his team, creating a plan of treatment means patients can take part in events like these.
To not only get us through the next little while, but it's going to last a lifetime. So it's a treatment strategy over the lifetime. Also to see them when they're not post-operative and in discomfort and that type of thing. Really, this time of year is a big boost for the whole heart program.
Something that takes on a special meaning as young heart patients celebrate their courage and resilience. In downtown Orlando, Jana Manahalal, Getting Results, News 6.
That is just precious. It's lovely. I'm so glad we did that.
Yeah, me too. We'll be right back.
Okay, so this morning I had a wonderful time at Lake Silver Elementary School.
Yeah?
They were gracious enough to invite me back again this year for, it's African American History Month, right, February, and I am honored anytime I get to go into the classroom. So
That's
for Black
awesome.
History Month, I read May Among the Stars. Okay. It's about astronaut Mae Jemison, the first African American woman to travel into space. And these guys were also there. I'm the short one, and I'm 6 feet tall.
Which is crazy to me.
Oh my gosh, these are Edgewater High School basketball players. They also read to some of the classrooms, and I could not thank those guys enough, because when the young kids see these, you know, superstar high school players, they think, oh, all we do is play and we're going to go to the NBA. And these guys they're good students, and they are also good community members. And I just want people to see that and know that they took the time out of their busy schedule to read to those young kids today. And I read to first graders and kindergartners. Oh my gosh, the best audience ever. They were
amazing. You give me chills with this. Honestly, I'm not saying that. That is fantastic. You also took time out of your day to care about the community as well. And I know that's
the best thing I can do.
That's what it's all about. And I'll tell you what, the impact that has on a kindergartner or a first grader, seeing you and seeing those high schoolers who they look up to is just fantastic.
And I looked up to them as well today, too.
You did.
Thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30.
Stream News 6 anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app. See ya.
Every day we flow through our lives, working, playing, taking care of our families, never really giving a thought to how hard our heart is working. But so many of us are living with issues that could result in a serious problem called an aneurysm. Today we are at the Orlando Health Heart and Vascular Institute, and we are thrilled to be joined by Dr. Aleem Mirza. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So you are a vascular surgeon. Tell me a little bit about what that entails.
So as vascular surgeons, we work on blood vessels throughout the entire body. And we work on several different types of problems, including blockages in those blood vessels, blood clots in those blood vessels, as well as aneurysms, which are categorized as ballooning or a degeneration of an artery to 1.5 times its usual size.
And at some point, these can rupture.
Yes.
And then you have a bleed out in the body.
Correct. So it's our job as vascular surgeons to diagnose these aneurysms, which frequently sit silent, but to find these aneurysms and then to monitor them until they reach the appropriate size to be repaired.
Okay, so the great part is if you find it and you catch it before it ruptures, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do these days.
Correct. What a stent does is it allows us to perform a minimally invasive surgery without making an incision on a patient. So we're able to go through the skin and put large IVs into the arteries on the top of the leg or in the groin, and then deliver a stent up into the aorta and seal the aneurysm from the inside out. You know, we need to measure the size of the aorta to be able to determine what size stent someone needs. We need to measure the length of stent that we need to use. And so nowadays we actually have a very nice tool where we're able to put a patient CT scan on a special program, take very accurate measurements of the diameter of the width of the aorta as well as the length needed, and we're able to determine what type of stent they need. Now, if the aneurysm extends up to the kidney arteries and we're not able to achieve a seal, that's where designing a customized stent comes into play.
And Orlando Health has basically brought this technology to our community.
Yes, so this technology has existed in the United States, but we have recently really built the program, expanded the program, and expanded the use of this technology beyond what it was being used right here in Central Florida.
And it is minimally invasive, which means there's less recovery time, there's less time in surgery, it's easier on the patient's body, all of those things.
Correct.
It's another reason to choose well with Orlando Health. If you would like more information, you can visit orlandohealth.com/heart.